Hi, and welcome, John Morris Show on a Wednesday. Great to have you with us this morning. Back in Central Texas, trip to Manhattan, Kansas, back about 2 a.m. this morning after a loss. Yeah, we've talked before about the psychology of a win and the psychology of a non-win. Like if Baylor had won that game last night and we didn't, we lost to Kansas State. If Baylor had won, I'd be fine this morning. I'd be chipper and, hey, that's great. And, hey, what's next? And, hey, this is great. But with a loss, it's like it just kind of pulls you down and you have to fight through that. So not just me, and I'm the least in that equation, but our coaches and players also, day off today for them. Following and then Arizona State comes in on Saturday, and we'll talk about it. Arizona State with a big win. They beat Texas Tech last night in Tempe. So all of that back from Manhattan, Kansas, other than the results and everything surrounding the Jerome Tang firing. A good trip to K-State. Weather was great up there. And we really thought, and Coach Drew told the team in pregame scout that they were going to get Kansas State's best shot. And that's exactly what happened last night. Whatever the motivation was, whether it was to play for Coach Tang or to play for Coach Driscoll or to play for themselves, and put their best product on the floor. They played as well. K-State played as well as they have really in any game in the Big 12 this year. And they're now 2-11 in the Big 12. Their only previous win was over Utah. Big two last night for K-State was P.J. Haggerty. We knew that. Third leading scorer in the nation, second in the Big 12. He had 34 last night. And then his running mate in the backcourt, Nate Johnson, had 33 last night, including 5 of 8 3-pointers. And Johnson really, I think, set the tone early. He came out and hit 2 threes right off the bat. And Baylor struggled from 3 again, but Nate Johnson set the tone for the Wildcats in front of I would say, certainly less than capacity crowd at Bramlage Coliseum last night. Garrett, I don't know how it looked on TV, but it was over half full, yeah. But it wasn't close to what it normally is.
No, and I think that was kind of to be expected there. Anytime you have a massive turnover and you see some fans kind of check out already, I think they're ready to, in my mindset, I think they're already looking towards next season, and they're trying to just get through this. But going into that, though, you had to know you were going to get their best shot. Right. And you did. Baylor has got to be more consistent from beyond the arc, and they got to take care of the ball. The amount of turnovers they have is just ridiculous.
Yeah. You can't win. I think this proves that. You can't win against anybody if you have 19 turnovers. Yeah, that's what happened last night. So 19 turnovers, that was a killer. Again, 3-point shooting, Baylor was 3 of 24. 1 of 12 in the first half, and that's coming off a 2 for 22 3-point outing against Louisville in that loss on Saturday. So Baylor, the last 2 games, 5 for 46. Unbelievable. 5 for 46 from 3-point range. And again, it's hard to beat anybody when those threes aren't falling. Now, Baylor doesn't live and die by the 3. I think they're more versatile than that, but when it's that off, they've got some good 3-point shooters. And when it's, when the shooting is that far off, like Obi Agbem was 0 for 5 last night. Cameron Carr was 0 for 5 from 3-point range. Those guys are normally much better than that. So when it's that bad, it's just tough to overcome. And Kansas State wins the game. 90-74 was the final score from last night. And Baylor drops to 3-10 in Big 12 play. And again, hosting Arizona State coming up this Saturday. So tough night, tough result. Coach Drew, as always, comes out to be with us on post-game media, a post-game radio interview. And he's I'm not going to say down because I don't think Coach Drew is ever down, but he just kind of looking for answers, and can't find them. And again, for Baylor, we mentioned this before. It seems like one game it's one thing, and then the next thing they get that corrected, and then it's something else. It's been the poor three-point shooting for a couple of games now, and then the turnovers were added to that last night, 19. Kansas State tried to help us. I mean, they had 18 turnovers themselves, but Baylor just couldn't take advantage. And the Bears fall to 3-10 in Big 12 play and 13-13 overall. Two other games last night in the league, and the big one that got everybody's attention happened late. It was a 10 p.m. Central Time tip-off, and I wonder if that was a factor. It was in Tempe. It was the second game of a two-game swing for Coach Grant McCaslin and the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and they lost to Arizona State last night. Hunting the release for that score. Was it 72-67 last night?
It was 78, or yeah, hold on, I'm on the wrong one.
I wasn't even close.
72-67.
Oh, good. Okay. 72-67, a big win for Arizona State that gets to 5-8 in Big 12 play with the win last night. Tech was coming off the win over Arizona in Tucson on Saturday in overtime. Huge win. And then they turn around and they lose to Arizona State. If you'd looked at that that two-game swing for the Red Raiders, you would have thought, yeah, there's no way they beat Arizona in Tucson in the McHale Center. And, yeah, there's no way they lose to Arizona State. And it was just the reverse of that. So two-game swing, you wonder if that's a factor. Every team in the Big 12 does that now at some point over the course of the season. It just makes sense travel-wise, money-wise to make the Arizona swing and hit both of them, or the Utah swing, or West Virginia, Cincinnati is what Baylor did earlier this year. You wonder if that's a factor, second game of a two-game swing. The 10 p.m. tip-off Central Time, so body time for the Tech guys, you wonder if that's a factor. Garrett, is that even a consideration?
I think at some point maybe you adapt to it, but I also think it's you go out to Arizona, you leave everything on the court in a game where you're matched up against arguably the best team in the nation, and then you can't take anybody for granted. And I'm not saying that's what Texas Tech did in this league, but I think it's hard to go from a game where you get up and you have to put so much into it and then quickly turn around. It's late. You're sitting all day. You're thinking about it. I think it just kind of all unfolded for Texas Tech last night.
No, that's a really good point. To follow up Arizona and have that same intensity again.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, that is tough. So give Arizona State credit. I mean, they won the game, and like I said, they get to 5-8 in conference play. Tech with the loss drops to 9-4. The other game last night was UCF and TCU. We talked about it yesterday. A real key game for both those teams who were tied at 6-6 in the Big 12 standings. And UCF holds serve at home and wins over TCU 82-71. That's a really good win for UCF to get a game over 500 in conference play, and another quality win, and a tough loss for TCU. Not a killer to lose to the Knights on the road, but good, more positive for UCF than it is negative for TCU, I think. And those are the three games from last night. Tonight in the Big 12, Utah plays at West Virginia. 8th-ranked Kansas plays at Oklahoma State, and this would be the headliner this evening. 23rd-ranked BYU plays at number 4 Arizona. That's 8 o'clock Central Time on ESPN coming up this evening. So that's a biggie there. BYU without Richie Saunders. How do they respond to that? They are sitting at 7-5 in the league, and a really good team, but a really big piece missing now in Richie Saunders. So how does BYU respond to that? Arizona at home tonight. Then Saturday, 4th-ranked Arizona plays at number 2 Houston. That is a 2 p.m. ABC game on Saturday. Looking ahead a little bit, the top 2 ranked teams in the Big 12, Arizona at Houston, comes up on Saturday. So that's a look around the Big 12. On the men's side, we'll look at the women's side coming up next segment, including a top 20 matchup in Lubbock, Baylor and Texas Tech this evening. But again, to wrap the K-State game last night for Baylor and the trip to Manhattan, I did have a chance to visit with Matthew Driscoll prior to the game and set that up thanks to Tom Gilbert, media relations for K-State. I said, hey, any chance Coach Driscoll would have a few minutes to record something for our pregame. We'd love to have him on. And Tom said, oh, I'm sure he would. He said, I'm sure he would with you. So that is something I normally don't even ask, to try to get an opponent's head coach, Garrett, for pregame, because I know the demands on their time,
right.
and I can usually find some audio from a press conference, and I'll pull a bite from that and use that. But for Coach Driscoll, I really wanted to talk to him, and he made it happen. And it's so funny for you folks who remember and know Coach Driscoll. He is very loquacious.
Yeah.
He likes to talk, and I think his mind was just spinning. When we talked, we got there and we're setting up, and I said, "Hey, you still have a minute?" He said, "Yeah, but let me finish with so and so." He was working out somebody on the floor, and he said, "Let me finish with him." So he walks back out there to that guy. Then he turns around and comes back and just starts standing there talking to us at the table. And so we have a nice conversation there. And then he finishes working out the guy. And I think it's one of their injured players. And then he says, come on, follow me. And we go up the tunnel and over on the K-State side where their locker room is. And he's just we're looking for a corner, to record. And we end up in their equipment room of all places. And their equipment guys, Coach Driscoll says, hey, can we record this in here? And he said, sure, anywhere you want. But we're there, and it's, I'd like to get 3 minutes with him, 3 minutes. And I told him that. I said it wouldn't take long. This is an hour before the game.
Yeah.
And so we just start talking before we start recording, and we talked for 10 minutes.
Oh, I bet.
Before we started recording. And that's just him, know, and we're talking and catching up, and I'm thinking, Coach, I don't want to take this much of your time, but we talked about Chase, his son, and Paxton, his other son, and where Paxton is and what he's doing now, and just talked about, in general, the whole situation there, how much he and Carrie like Manhattan. I mean, they really like living there. Lived in Jacksonville, Florida before that. And Carrie had said, gosh, we've got so much time in our life back living here just because of no traffic.
Yeah.
But we talked for probably 10 minutes, and then we record the interview, and it was, I think, 3.5 minutes. Turn off the microphone. Then he talks some more. and it was great. I mean, I loved catching up with him. But it would be a conversation that we might have in May or June or July,
right.
Not an hour before a game, his first game as the interim head coach. But he is just, he is wired, number one, always wired. And he is kind of wired that way in that he is very outgoing, very friendly. And, I'm sure he's that way to everybody. I'm not saying it's just me.
No, I'm pretty sure he is. I think when you were saying that, I just envisioned when it happened and he was announced that he was going to take over for Jerome, there was the meme going around with him like doing this battle cry yell thing.
Really?
Like you could just see his energy at all times that he has.
Oh yeah, high energy. That
is very high energy.
Always high energy. So all that to say, glad we got to visit a little bit, and appreciate Coach Coach Driscoll making that happen. And after the game, the handshake line, remember we talked one point, it was really short. This one was a full-on hug between Coach Drew and Coach Driscoll. So says a lot right there. And that was a big, big win. And I'll tell you this also, we're doing our post game on radio, and K-State down the row is doing theirs. They bring Coach Driscoll out there, and some fans stuck around and gave him applause as he walked out there. And they run it over the speakers, which some schools do inside the arena. So some people stick around to listen to the post game in the arena, not hurry to their car, to get there to hear it on the radio. And he, I kind of heard this out of, we were talking and doing our post game, but I thought I heard this, and then Josie Hutton confirmed it. He broke down and cried on his post game, on K-State. So you can see all of the, just all of the emotion and everything that had been building up over the last few days there. And he said to us pregame, he said he was numb. He said, I'm just numb right now. And you can understand that. And so for all those reasons, it was a huge win for Kansas State and a tough loss for Baylor, but really a big win for K-State last night over the Bears. So kind of wraps that, and Baylor and Arizona State comes up on Saturday, 3 o'clock in Foster Pavilion. Tonight, there's a big game on the women's side. It is Baylor, number 15 in the nation. They are playing at 20th-ranked Texas Tech, second go-around during the regular season between those two. And you'll remember the conference opener was back on December 21st. Tech was undefeated when they came to Waco. Baylor was playing really well, and Tech got a 1-point win, 61-60 over Baylor. Now the rematch tonight in Lubbock. We'll hear from Nikki Collin and preview that when we come back. Glad you're with us on this Wednesday morning, back in studios, back in Central Texas. John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing, also by Alliance Bank Central Texas. Thanks to the Brazos Landing, a quiet atmosphere, a beautiful river view right along the Brazos River. Check it out at brazoslanding.com. Closed on Mondays, open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Great location right across the river from Foster Pavilion, right across the interstate from McLean Stadium, and a great menu. Check it out at the Brazos Landing on the web at thebrazoslanding.com. Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people. From first accounts to business growth, they actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
At DeCampli's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decampleys.com.
My name is David Maddox, owner of Waco Foundation Repair. I've been in business right at 20 years, incorporated since 2003, and nonstop, very busy business to be in. We stay plenty busy with this good old Central Texas ground that constantly moves and does its thing. If you think you have foundation repair issues, call Waco Foundation Repair today.
Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services, foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center.
Welcome back. John Morris Show on the Rogue Media Network on a Wednesday morning, brought to you in part by Alliance Bank Central Texas. Great folks over there. Eric Sharrow normally makes these trips with us, makes more than he doesn't on these road trips. Did not, stayed behind because it was Michelle, his wife's birthday yesterday. So good move by Eric. But Eric and Ricky Thompson, Todd Moore, all the folks at Alliance Bank Central Texas, your Central Texas business bank. Voted by Forbes 2025 Best in State Banks. Alliance Bank Central Texas values their relationships with their customers and their communities with several locations across Central Texas. They are at alliancebanktexas.com. One other thing that I failed to mention, that first segment, talking about Arizona State's big win over Texas Tech last night in Tempe. JT Toppin went out of that game late, I think about 6 minutes to play, went out with what was termed a lower leg injury, did not come back even in a tight game. So I haven't seen any more or heard any more about that. Garrett, check and see if you see anything. But that was a big loss last night to lose JT Toppin, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, for the stretch run of that game, and then see what that means moving forward. Hopefully nothing serious for JT Toppin, but he did go out of the game, and the Red Raiders lost the game to Arizona State.
Yeah, there's nothing confirmed as of yet. It's still just a lower leg injury.
Okay. And Coach McCaslin was asked about it post game, and he was very vague. Maybe he didn't know, or maybe he didn't want to say whether it was knee. He was asked specifically, was it knee or ankle? And he did not say. So we'll see how that plays out. But that is and was a big loss for Texas Tech, and a big part, I would think, of that loss last night to Arizona State. All right, switch gears to the women's side of the Big 12. Baylor is in Lubbock. They'll play Texas Tech coming up this evening. Baylor and TCU tied for the lead in the Big 12 standings, both 11-3. West Virginia is a half game back. They are 11-4. Texas Tech, another half game back. They are 10-4. Then Oklahoma State at 10-5. So Baylor and Tech, two of the top four teams in the Big 12 standings. A ranked versus ranked matchup tonight. 15th ranked Baylor, 20th ranked Texas Tech. 6 p.m. this evening from the South Plains. And again, Texas Tech beat Baylor in Waco in the conference opener way back on December 21st. That seems like such a long time ago, and in some ways it was. But Tech came in, I remember, undefeated and flying high. But I did that game with Jordan Lewis on TV, and I remember thinking, yeah, Baylor's going to burst their bubble, and win here, because Baylor was playing really well also, but went down to the wire, and Baylor lost by 1. Another key part from that game, Talia Scott played less than 2 minutes in the game. She had the ankle injury she was working through, and kind of forced her way into the game late, but wasn't that much of a factor in a 1-point loss by the Bears. So now the rematch in Lubbock comes up this evening at 6 p.m. At her press conference yesterday, Nikki Collin was asked if revenge is a factor in this rematch.
Said I'm not really all that big on. I'm more of an intrinsic motivation type person, but I also think that the game was in December. And I think Texas Tech had been playing very, very well, and they've continued to play well. But certainly when we faced them, they hadn't faced any adversity yet. They had no losses. It was a really close game the whole way through. And, I think the biggest thing right now is not necessarily leaning into revenge, but being in a tie for first place. It's like holding serve. Like, if you want to win it, you got to win them all. You got to assume you have to win them all. And so it's just the next game up, and it's certainly a game against a really elite opponent that gives us another shot at a quad 1 win. And, so I think all of those things are motivating, to be honest.
Yeah, Nikki, with 4 games left, to still basically, to have it in your hands, what does that mean for this team? And do you talk much about scenarios or anything like that?
We may banter them around in the office, but I think realistically, you just have to assume at this point you can't drop any games if you want to win it. And I also think everyone's got tough opponents, so it's not like you don't look at what everybody else has on their schedule down the stretch. But I also, if you want to control your own destiny, you have to go out and win the games one by one. And so, that's the approach right now. It's one game at a time. It's, 3 games in the next week. And so, I think the greatest thing about the UCF game for us in this stretch was the ability to rest our starters. And I thought that was as valuable as anything else in that game.
All right, Nikki Collin, Baylor and Texas Tech tonight from Lubbock. Baylor's in a stretch of 5 games in 12 days to close the regular season. And this one tonight in Lubbock is a big one, 15th ranked Baylor, 20th ranked Texas Tech. 6 p.m. tonight. It's on the Baylor Sports Media Network. Derek Smith, Lori Fogelman with the call there. It is on ESPN Plus as well. Also on the women's side, Big 12 basketball tonight. K-State plays at UCF, Arizona State at Iowa State, and 12th ranked TCU, now the highest ranked team in the league. They play at Houston coming up this evening at 6:30. So that's the women's schedule in the Big 12. The Baylor women, after the game tonight, are home on Saturday evening to play Arizona. So that's a doubleheader on Saturday in Foster Pavilion, and it's normally the women's game first and the men's game later, but this one will be reversed. TV makes that decision. So the men play Arizona State at 3. The women play Arizona at 7 on Saturday in Foster Pavilion. And still a far cry from the way things used to be. When I was in school at Baylor, Baylor women's basketball, and they were the Bearettes, and they were just a lead into the men's game. And most women's college basketball games were at that point. They were just for the people who happened to come early to the men's game. And I say that to say how much things have changed for the better for women's basketball. But it was, so different then when they were just the prelude to the men's game. Now, certainly separate TV windows, separate dates for the most part. There's a few double headers if the facilities can make it work, but certainly standalone games. They're not a prelude to anything coming up for the men. So that's tonight, Baylor and Texas Tech women's basketball. That'll be fun. Let's talk about that. And all things Baylor athletics. Jerry Hill, Baylor Insider, joins us after a break. Always fun to visit with Jerry. We'll talk basketball, men's and women's. Baseball, big win last night. Softball back from San Diego, headed to Clemson. All those things with Jerry Hill when we come back. We invite you to stay with us. John Morris Show brought to you in part by Kish's Complete Car Care Center. And we'll be live at Kish's coming up tomorrow morning. So come by. They give free popcorn there. So come by and visit. Kish's family owned and operated here in Waco since 1998, voted #1 auto shop year after year, located on Franklin Avenue, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Call now for your next repair. Kish's Complete Car Care Center. Take a break. Jerry Hill joins us after a break. We'll continue on the John Morris Show.
If I'm only wearing one suit this summer, it has to be Twillery's Performance Linen. It's wrinkle resistant, machine washable, and built with stretch and breathability that actually moves with you. It'll keep you cool, sharp, and stress-free at your next event.
Some of the best foods that you can eat are very simple foods. So we selected very lean proteins and put them on the best trajectory, the best plane to live a healthy life.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Bidets.com, where we sell mini bidets, not mini bidets.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people. From first accounts to business growth, they actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Welcome back, John Morris Show on a Wednesday. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks also to Waco Foundation Repair. David Maddox, locally owned and operated. Waco Foundation Repair believes in one principle, one family helping another. They provide a full range of foundation repairs. They don't just do the job, they do it right. WacoFoundationRepair.com. So welcome in our good friend, and we hope yours, Jerry Hill, Baylor Insider, joins us now. Jerry, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, John. Welcome back from Manhattan.
Thanks for that. I'll see you in the office here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Should we start there? Rough loss for the Bears last night against K-State.
Yeah, John, I was worried about this one going in just because you just don't know how a team is going to respond to what all they had been through. But, obviously K-State responded in the right way and played really hard last night. I didn't think Baylor was very good defensively. I think that was the biggest thing. And then, that's back-to-back rough shooting nights for Cameron Carr, so they've got to get more out of him. So those would be the 2 big issues I saw last night.
Yeah, tough three-point shooting also, and 19 turnovers in the game. So really too much. I thought K-State played inspired. I started talking about this earlier about the crowd. It wasn't a great crowd, and their student section is usually full to the brim, and it wasn't last night. But even with that, the ones that were there really got behind their team. Yeah, they did, John. And, they were, particularly the students, they were chanting there at the end and stuff. And, they were definitely into the game. And it wasn't, I don't think it was anything against, Coach Tang or whatever. But I think it was just, they love K-State, that kind of thing. Because the main thing they were chanting is KSU. So, like you said, not a great crowd, but the ones that were there, they really got into it. Yeah. All right. Women's basketball. We just heard from Nikki Collin. That's a big game tonight, isn't it? They get a second shot at Tech, who they lost to by 1 point earlier. Yeah. And it's been, God, John, that's so long ago. That was back in December. That's crazy. Where you get TCU twice in like the last 6 games. Yeah. They played Tech, basically 2 months ago. So that game is almost forgotten. But the thing I remember is Talia just barely played. She was in for like the last 2 or 3 minutes. It's a different Baylor team than Tech is seeing. I remember in the first one, Yuting Dung, she played really well in that game, scored a lot of points. She struggled a little bit lately, but I think having Talia back in the lineup, that just makes such a huge difference. So, big game for Baylor for the women with 4 games left. You basically still control your own destiny. If you win out, you're the outright, conference champions because right now they're tied with TCU and they play them again in Fort Worth in a couple of weeks. So, they have it right there in their hands. Yeah, but you got it. They got to play it one game at a time. They can't say, "All right, we're looking forward to TCU, for the championship." If you don't take care of the 3 games between now and then, it may not be for the championship.
Yeah, and that was my concern even going to UCF. I know UCF isn't very good, but how do you respond after getting beat pretty good by TCU? And I thought they responded really well, John. Sunday in Orlando, really took it to them kind of from the very beginning. So you'd like to see them start like that. That's been an issue in some of the games that they've lost, is they just haven't started very well. So you'd like to see them come out of the chute and jump on Tech early. Tech's a good team. I mean, and this is a tough place to play. So, we'll see how the Bears do tonight. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, they do have to take it one game at a time, because this is proven to be a league where, some of the teams in the middle to the bottom can, jump up and beat some of the top teams. So you want to avoid that and have that last game against TCU really mean something.
Yeah, that's not original, by the way. I'm not the first person to ever say take it one game at a time.
One game at a time?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to trademark that. So
Maybe
thank you for telling me that.
But it's not original to me. So that one comes up tonight. That'll be fun to watch. And how about baseball? Big win over Texas State. Off to a really good start to the year.
Yeah, and there again, they responded really well. Texas State had a 4 spot. I believe it was maybe the third or fourth inning, and Baylor came right back, took the lead back, and then just kind of rolled. Man, what a great opening weekend. I'm not sure that I've seen one quite like that, where you got a guy that hits 3 grand slam. When he came up that third time, I'm like, no, he's not going to do it again. But
right.
And then I think it was in the next game, he came first inning. He comes up there with the bases loaded. I'm thinking, no, not this time. But he did get a sac fly out of it. But man, what a weekend for Tice Armstrong.
And then Sunday he batted with the bases loaded and got hit by a pitch.
Yeah. I mean, he likes the bases loaded, apparently.
That's great. It seemed like a really good start, 4-0 start. All the way around. Defense has been good. Offense has been there, 14 runs last night. And the pitching has been really good also.
Yeah, I think the pitching has really held up real well. They may have, like I said, that one inning against Texas State. But other than that, I mean, they've had a pretty clean slate, and, kind of true to form with Snedeker. His staff has thrown strikes. They're just not walking a lot of people. And that's one of the things that hurt Texas State last night, was they just, were walking and hitting a lot of guys. So you can't give up that many free bases and hope to come out with a win. So again, Snedeker, true to his form, their pitchers are throwing strikes, not walking a lot of guys, and not giving them help. So I think that's been a big key. But yeah, great start for Mitch and his crew, getting out to a 4-0 start, and they've got a big weekend coming up this weekend at Round Rock. So they'll be really tested this weekend, but I think it's good that they've got this start and kind of have a little momentum going into that weekend.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Watch those games from Round Rock this weekend. Softball, another good, solid weekend, 4-1 out at San Diego. And now they go from San Diego, a tournament this past weekend, to a tournament in Clemson coming up this weekend, getting some frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, going coast to coast. That's that's what Baylor softball is all about. They can play coast to coast, and yeah, you're right, John. I kind of wondered again how they would respond. They lost that first game in San Diego, and man, they just bounced back. They came back and beat San Diego maybe 2 games after that. So Glenn and his crew, we talked last week about young and dumb. They're still clicking along, and whether they know it or not, they're getting the job done. That's the big thing. And I think he's gotten better pitching too, as the season has progressed. I know we're only 2 weeks in, but it seems like particularly the main two, Peyton Tanner and Cameron Krieger, I think both of those have pitched really well. So I'm hoping that Sadie Ross will come on a little bit. She struggled a little bit early, but yeah, they've done well, John. They've played the schedule in front of them and done really well.
Jerry, since the last time we talked, men's tennis had quite a run, beat three straight top 10 opponents, made it to the semifinals of the ITA National Indoors, and lost to Texas to be bounced there. But, man, what a great run by Michael Woodson and Baylor men's tennis.
Yeah, it was incredible, John, particularly that Wake Forest match. I mean, you're down 3-0 in that one, and you got to come back and win them all. And they did. A lot of three-setters, and it came down to actually 2 third-set tiebreakers on courts 1 and 5, and Baylor just got it done. That was Devin Badenhorst on 1 and Luke Koenig on 5, and both of them got it done in the tiebreaker. And man, what a huge win for those guys. And like you said, 3 top 10 wins. And then, you're looking at that Texas match. They did get beat 4-0 in that one, but then you look deeper into it again. A lot of three-setters. There were a couple of them that they probably could have won there at the end. So the big deal in that one was a couple of the guys that had won first sets dropped the second set. And I think if they could have built momentum, getting a couple of straight set wins, I think they may have been able to pull that one out, but we're not. And Texas, they lost to Ohio State yesterday in the championship match 4-2. So Ohio State is your ITA national team indoor champions.
There you go. Good input. Thank you. Acrobatics and tumbling, their home opener comes up on Sunday. Is that UMHB? Is that right?
It is UMHB. Yeah, okay. They beat Azusa Pacific this past weekend, beat them pretty handily. And that is, I believe, John, that's the site of the last, I guess, NCATA national championship. So that's coming up in April. But they host UMHB this weekend, and that's kind of a cool thing. That Baylor has that, kind of not a rivalry, but like it's good that they've seen UMHB come along and establish that program. And so UMHB will be here, and Baylor will host them.
That'll be fun. That is Sunday afternoon in the Farrell Center. Farrell Center, home to A&T and Baylor volleyball. And tell me, I don't know, what's track and field doing this weekend?
Yeah, this is their first weekend off, John. They competed in 5 straight meets. Tariah Kelly, again, broke her own school record in the 200 meters this past week at the Jarvis Scott Invite in Lubbock. And they'll go back to Lubbock next week for the Big 12 championship. So postseason's already here. They'll go there next weekend, and then the NCAA Indoor Championships will be the second weekend in March in Fayetteville, lovely Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I've been there many times. Very good. All right, anything else that we haven't covered?
Women's golf goes Monday to the Chevron Classic in Houston. So they've been kind of rocking and rolling. I believe they're number 20 in the country right now. So good times. And we've talked about it, but this is kind of that crossover time when pretty much everything is going. So if you can find a day without Baylor events, let me know, because it just seems like they keep coming.
Yeah, I saw your day planner. How full that it was. So. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much. I'll see you in the office here in a little bit.
Can I add one more?
Yes.
Thank you. Equestrian hosting Senior Day.
Oh, yes.
Saturday, right? I think that's right, Saturday. And I will have a My Baylor story out tomorrow on Lauren Stebbins, a 5th-year senior with the equestrian team that did not compete her first 3 years, and now she's in the lineup and starting and doing well. So, come out and follow the equestrian team on Saturday as they face TCU on Senior Day.
Yeah, Senior Day, always big. TCU is always big. So, good. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, appreciate it, Jerry. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
All right, Jerry Hill, Baylor insider, the professor, published author, Connect 4 champion, all those good things. And Garrett, 1983, University of North Texas, print journalism student of the year.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if he has a plaque or a gold star for that.
He needs a plaque.
Absolutely. Going back to 1983. Thanks to Jerry. We appreciate him greatly. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look ahead. We'll wrap things up, share some birthdays with you on this Wednesday, the 18th day of February. I want to say thanks again to a new partner. Toe King is here. That is TOW King. Tow King, here to help the next time you're stuck on the road. A locally owned and family-run business, Tow King offers 24-hour emergency roadside assistance with highly trained operators. Tow King of Waco is a company you can count on. Call Tow King the next time you need help. Thanks to Tow King. Take a break. Back with more in a moment. John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing and by Alliance Bank Central Texas. And we'll be right back after this.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues or those sort of things. Because the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. I said I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
It's a great meditation sport. It's just yourself. You get out here, feeling the rhythm, feeling the rhyme. It's a good time.
Gives me the opportunity to hang out with the fellas for about 5 hours, and I get some solitude, relaxation, and a great time. Malban Golf.
As life goes on, it settles into patterns. But it doesn't have to go that way. You just have to do one thing. Get out of the house. Get out of your comfort zone. Leave room for the unexpected.
American Tourister. Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center.
For those who want the best, look no further than the Founders Series by Louisiana Grills. If you want the best food, then you need the best grill. Louisiana Grills.
At DeCampli's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decamplis.com.
And welcome back. Final segment, John Morris Show on this Wednesday morning. Great to be back in studio. Thanks again to Garrett Ross, Brandon McGinnis behind the scenes making things happen. We will be out of studio tomorrow, but in Waco, we'll be at Kish's Complete Car Care Center tomorrow morning, 9 to 10 a.m. So come by and visit there. And especially if you need any tender loving care for your vehicle, come by and they can fix you up at Kish's Complete Car Care Center. Let's share some birthdays with you. We like to do that on the way out in this final segment. Today is Johnny Derrick's birthday. Johnny was a key member of Kim Mulkey's staff here at Baylor, then LSU, now in retirement. Johnny Derrick celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to him. Martha Kate Gunn's birthday, much better half of Martha Kate and Keith Gunn. Her maiden name is Stallings. Yes, Martha Kate, her dad is Coach Gene Stallings. So happy birthday to Martha Kate today. It is Joey Scrivano's birthday today, Baylor women's tennis coach. Happy birthday to the biggest Boston Celtics fan that I know, Coach Scrivano, doing a great job with Baylor women's tennis, has for many, many years. So happy birthday to him. Nico and Luca's dad, Joey Scrivano. Brett Dolan's birthday. Brett broadcasting up in Arkansas. does a terrific job. Happy birthday to him. Gary Reasons, broadcasting over in Louisiana, and played pro football and broadcasting for many, many years. Who else we have on the 18th of February? Former Waco Mayor Virginia Dupuis. Her birth date is today. And Nancy McCann, Andy Burcham, Andy, the voice of the Auburn Tigers. It's a long list today. Ooh, it's Melvin Bonner's birthday today. Former great Baylor receiver. He and J.J. Joe were such a great connection. And Melvin, just a terrific player. And J.J. always gave him credit. He said Melvin made him who he was. So happy birthday to Melvin Bonner today. I think that is it. Oh, Julie Schroetel's birthday today also. So I think that's it. Anybody else to add?
Nobody today, Jim.
All right, very good. Let me know. So happy birthday to all of those folks. There is a tease of a video that is out from Baylor Athletics as tailgating is coming home. And I take that to mean that that Baylor's going to do that in-house again. Is that the way you read that?
I hope so.
I think you and a lot of people probably feel that way. So I think that's a great move. One of the early moves that appears to be very popular by Doug McNamee.
Doug has a great idea and blueprint for what needs to happen, and
Yes.
I'm excited to see it all unfold.
You know, he's just so smart, and he's
he
just
gets
a
it.
fan at heart.
Yes.
And fan first is the term we hear from him. And that is so cool. I love seeing that. And so kudos to Doug and all the other folks that helped in that decision. But it sounds like one that is a good move and very popular. I'm busy on game days. I don't have time to go out there and tailgate, but I hear things, and I have heard things over the last couple of years. So sound like a really great move there. Watch for more on that. Go to the Baylor Athletics website, BaylorBears.com. All right, tonight, Baylor women's basketball in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Baseball headed down to Round Rock. They'll open that tournament there on Friday against Oregon State. Softball headed to Clemson. They'll play in that tournament. They open against Lipscomb on Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. Maybe Friday for their tournament opener out there. And should mention also a couple of Big 12 honors. Ambor Vels from men's tennis. He is the Big 12 Player of the Week. And Amber Tovin from Baylor softball is the Big 12 Softball Player of the Week. Of course, Tice Armstrong, the Big 12 and National Player of the Week, coming off his unbelievable weekend in the season opening series against New Mexico State for Baylor baseball. So some real nice honors there. Congratulations to them. And looky here, it's Paul Catalina. Wow, what a treat. What a treat. I gotta sign off so I give Paul a hug. So thanks for being with us. We really do appreciate it. Thanks to Jerry Hill for being on with us. Join us tomorrow. We'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. live from Kish's coming up tomorrow. Thanks to Brandon and Garrett behind the scenes. Thanks to you for tuning in. John Morris Show, presented by the Rogue Media Network. Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people. From first accounts to business growth, they actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
At DeCampli's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decampleys.com.
My name is David Maddox, owner of Waco Foundation Repair. I've been in business right at 20 years, incorporated since 2003, and nonstop, very busy business to be in. We stay plenty busy with this good old Central Texas ground that constantly moves and does its thing. If you think you have foundation repair issues, call Waco Foundation Repair today.
Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services, foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center